Greetings, everyone. P. Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of In the Prog Seat on this Tuesday night. We've got a really big crew today for a really epic episode featuring some epic songs going into a epic song battle royal. Before I talk about the five tracks, let me introduce the crew. To the left or right of me, however you're looking at. The Kansas here, Chris Canzaneri. On the other side, we've got George Lemie. Below him is Anthony Ferraro. We've got the master of the review crew, Jamie Laszlo, is here. Also, the Monsters Den. Ken Golden, the professor of Prague from the Professor's Picks, is here. Eric Porter, one of the two driving forces behind For Fusion Friday and also Let's Jam. We got from the Prague Corner today, special guest Scott Lade.
Pete Bardo,
What's going on? We've got
good to
Lewis
be
Lasser in
here.
the house.
It's awesome. I only have three words. I'm a man of many words, but I only have three. I'm not worthy.
Apparently you are.
There you go. And last but not least, all the way down at the bottom of the Zoom from Curlis Mania, Tom Curlis is here. What's going on, Tom?
Hey, psyched to be here, guys. Thanks for having me. This is gonna be fun.
Absolutely.
There's also me.
I did say you, Lewis, but Scott was talking. So
blame it on me.
Lewis is back in the States, correct?
This is right. I am in my old neighborhood, although not in my old house.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, he is back in the States after being in Mexico for quite a long time. Welcome back home, Lewis.
If I don't like his picks, I'm calling ice.
You better be careful what kind of threats you make, because anti-Semitism is just increasing.
It's true.
Oh boy, we're off to the races.
Off to a bad way
to start here.
Off to the races. All right. So today, in this battle royal, and I'm gonna say what I just said to everybody off camera. We did not pick close to the edge in today's battle royal. Generally speaking, most people list that as the greatest prog epic of all time. So I figure if I put close to the edge in here, might be a little unfair to the other combatants. So we have not included close to the edge. However, Yes is still here today, and I have chosen Gates of Delirium off of the Relayer album from 1972. Right? Keep me in line here if I'm getting
74.
74, sorry. Tarkus by Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
That's 71.
That's 71. Supper's Ready from Genesis Foxtrot.
Also, let's see.
Cygnus X1 Book 2 Hemispheres by Rush. And then, oops, I should have taken out of the fucking box. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, that's the wrong one. Caravan from In the Land of Gray and Pink. We've got their classic 9 Feet Underground. All right. So all epics, I think every one of them is 18 plus minutes, if I remember correctly. A couple of them go over 20. So these are all gargantuan epics. They're much loved by the prog community, and they're going to battle right now. So everybody's going to rank them in the order that they like them. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer here, folks. So we urge everybody to rank them as you like them down in the comments below. But we will pick a winner. We've got a point system going, as everybody remembers when we do these type of things. If you get a first place vote, you get 5 points. Second place, 4 points. Third place, 3 points. Fourth place, 2. Fifth place, 1. So at the end of once we have everybody's votes in, I will tally it all up and we will declare a winner. And we're going to go 2 trips round. The first time around, we're going to go our number 5, 4, and 3 pick. Okay. So we're going to start with Tom. You're getting thrown into the gauntlet first. So what is your number 5, 4, and 3?
All right. Well, I was just for my first time on In the Prog Seat, I was hoping you guys could give me a harder topic. That would have been a little more challenging. Would have been good. This is this is tough. This is tough, but I had to go with my gut. You got to go with your, how you feel, and it really makes you be honest about what your favorites are and what you're listening to the most. So I went number 5. I went 9 Feet Underground. I enjoy this song. I mean, Caravan, it's Canterbury scene. I mean, people call it prog rock. Is it prog rock? Is it more psychedelic rock? Is it more smoke a fatty? And I mean, it's like there's a little bit of pop involved, like Kevin Ayers and Soft Machine. And Soft Machine, I kind of feel like is a little bit more on the, even people call Pink Floyd is prog. Pink Floyd has prog elements. I mean, Caravan, I enjoy this track. It's a long track. it actually reminds me a little bit of Traffic at times. It actually has like a little bit of like Low Spark, a High Heel Boys vibe to it sometimes. I almost feel like if they opened up for Traffic back in the day, they would have been like, somebody would have been in the parking lot like, oh man, I'm missing Traffic. No, it's Caravan. But this track, it seems like it's a bunch of different tracks kind of edited together. And there's a lot of keyboard solos going on and a lot of, so it's pleasant. It's pleasant. I enjoy it. But would I say that it beats any of the others? No. So I'm going to move on to my number 4. And that is, this one really pains me, but I had to do it. Gates of Delirium. These next two were really, really, really close for me. It's a good epic. I like things like, I don't know, going for the one. What's the going for the one epic?
Awaken.
Yeah, that one to me is beats this one. I think it's a good epic song, but I feel like it's a bit disjointed at times. And the whole like war scene in the middle part, that whole where the war's going on, it's cool. I like it a lot. Actually, there's points in the song you almost hear like feels like bullets flying by you or something. And Steve Howe is really killing it. He's playing at the top of his game. But there's definitely a little bit, Yes was in one of their transition periods where they have Patrick Moraz in there. It's not Wakeman, it's Moraz, and he does a great job. He steps in admirably, but it just doesn't really feel the same as something like you mentioned, Close to the Edge, of course. And I even like some of the epics, on Tales from Topographic Oceans, even a little bit, maybe even a little bit better, like Revealing Science of God or something like that. So anyway, I'm gonna go with number 4. It's a great, I love Soon. I got to say that really quick. I love Soon at the end. I think that's a beautiful way to end the song. I think it's well done, and it's still Yes at their high. It's still Yes at a very high level. So I do love Gates of Delirium, but I have to put it at 4 because Hemispheres has been like moving up my. It's just been moving up. The Rush in general has been moving up my ranks a lot, and I really enjoy when I listen to Hemispheres, Cygnus Book 2. It hits me. There's something the playing. You guys have talked about this album before, and I know that I think Lewis or somebody said that Rush almost feels like they're at the edge of their ability, like they're pushing their talents to the total edge, and you can feel it, and they're playing hard and fast, and everything's super tight. And I love how it's like part 2 of what ended on Farewell to Kings. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and then all of a sudden you're continuing on. The guy went into, I don't know, was an astronaut that went into a black hole or something, and now it's hard to kind of follow, but he's basically listening to the gods fighting or something, but I love it. It's a real journey, and I love Alex Lifeson's work on it. The guitar just alone is just, I love it. It's great. So I got to go with Hemispheres, Book 2, Cygnus, for number 3.
Okay, cool. Lewis, what do you got for your bottom 3?
Number 5 to me is very simple. That Caravan tune. The only reason it's on this list is because it's long, but it's noodly. For the most part, for me, it just seems kind of pointless. I don't really care for it at all. I know this is going to piss off all these Canterbury guys. 0 fucks given. So I just don't care. So that's an easy number 5. Now, number 4 and everything else, that's a lot trickier for me. For different reasons than Tom, I'm going to give Gates of Delirium the number 4. I love that Yes record. It's one of the few Yes records that I truly love. However, I don't love Soon. You're going through this kind of epic battle, and then the fairies come out, and there's hand holding, and there's the usual John Anderson shit. I have no use for it, so I have to give it the number 4.
Oh God!
I do love it, and I love what Patrick Moraz does.
Sounds like it.
I just think that Sound Chaser is better for me, and from the record. And the number 3, I have to give it to Supper's Ready. Here is why. Genesis is a masterful songwriting collective. and that is arguably one of their better ones. However, in the prog community, when you've been in it for as long as I have, and if you're a musician, inevitably people will ask you to play it in exactly the same way that when you're in a normal club, people ask you to play Freebird, and you have to go, this one's free, the next one will cost you. This is the equivalent of prog. Everybody wants you to play the first 3 minutes, not more. That's all they know of the song, right? And it's been overplayed. So regretfully, that put it down for me because it's just such a cliche. And even though it has some of the best things that Genesis did, it's also just, I'm tired of it. So that's why I have to put it at number 3. It is a masterpiece, without a doubt. And all the other 4, with the exception of the Caravan, are amazing compositions. The Caravan, I don't think of it as a composition. I think of it as a loose jam. And there are better loose jams. So those are my 5, 4, and 3.
Okay, interesting. All right, Scott, over to you.
Oh boy, how do I follow that? Lewis always with the hot takes. Yeah. Number 5. Yeah, and I actually love 9 Feet Underground, but it's got to be Caravan in the number 5 spot. And the one thing that I love about epics, we're talking about 5 epics, is it's impossible to separate the epic from the other side, right? Whether you want to or not, that other side does dictate how you're thinking about the epic. That's why Lewis is dead wrong. 9 Feet Underground's amazing. You listen to side 1 and it's the shorter songs, and then you get into this really weird. Yeah, it is like a jam. It's like if Traffic med up with the Cream, because that last bit.
What?
That's
it.
Totally Sunshine of Your Love, man. It totally is.
No, that's Sunshine of Your Love on quaaludes and downers, and at only 10% of the power.
It's
Come on,
awesome.
Man. No. Calm down. No.
At number 4, I almost put it at number 5 because I honestly think side 2 is way, way better than side 1. I'm going with the Cygnus X1. Book 2, Hemispheres, side 1. Yeah, Lewis talks about being in a band. I was in a band in 1980, terrible prog rock band called Stages with a Z, and we played side 1 of this. And by the time you get to like the 10-minute mark, I'm falling asleep, and I'm playing it. It's terrible. No, it's a great song. I'm sorry. It's just side 2 so much better with the Tree Circumstances and La Via Stranghiato. And at number 3, the very first prog epic I ever heard. My brother came home from college. He had a cassette tape with Fragile on one side and Tarkus on the other. And side 1, the Tarkus epic is amazing. Yeah, I guess I'm the first one to have it in the bottom 3, which just tells you how great the top 2 is. But Keith Emerson at his peak. Greg Lake didn't like this. He was dragged along kicking and screaming. Carl and Keith were all about the epic. Greg, I love you, but you were dead wrong. Side 1 of Tarkus, one of the greatest things in the history of mankind. Back to you, Pete Pardo.
All right, cool. Eric Porter, you're up.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'll just keep the thing going with Caravan, but I'm going to throw a few positives in. I like the feel. I think they've got a good groove. It does go on long. I'll agree with Lewis that there's not a ton there. So that gets boring. And I kind of dig the keyboards. It's got a little psych feel to it. And Scott, I agree with you. That ending, is that the 100 proof or whatever? Yeah. I enjoyed that riff, but I think what kind of kills this is that it's just a little too repetitive. Very samey. I'm not big on the vocals for this, that whimsical kind of feel, but I like the song, but way too, I know the vocal thing shocks you, but that's not my thing. At number 4, I'm going to go with Tarkus. So I'm going lower than you, Scott.
Yeah.
Keith Emerson, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Greg Lake, I love his voice, but what I do feel like is the instrumental sections for this are mind-blowing, and then they come in with these vocal pieces, and it's not so much the vocals because Greg Lake is amazing, but I just feel like it kind of takes something away. If this had been an instrumental, it would have been amazing. And Carl Palmer I find annoying in some parts. I don't know why, if it's way too busy where he doesn't need to be. That's just me. So it kind of throws me a little bit. I think he's too busy in sections, but I can't take anything away from Emerson because his playing is phenomenal in this. And Greg Lake has some great
Eric?
bass stuff. Yes.
I would pay some serious money to watch you tell that to Carl Palmer's face. I would love
Sorry,
that.
Carl. I mean, that's
No,
my
don't
opinion.
apologize. You stick to
Okay.
your guns. I having interacted briefly with him, I just wonder what would develop, and I am enjoying it immensely. Go
He
ahead.
might not be happy with me, but
I'm
I don't know.
glad-
I find it way too busy at times. I know there's a lot of intensity to the song, but take it easy, Carl. a
Well,
little bit.
Eric, I'm glad that you pointed out that Greg, he doesn't shine here like he does elsewhere. Because I'm telling you, he wasn't sold on the material while he was doing it, while they were writing it and while they were recording it. Yeah, so you pick up on it.
I would believe it. And I love Greg Lake's voice, so don't get me wrong there. I just feel like some of the vocal things kind of lack something, and it's the instrumental pieces of that really power through, and they're terrific. And I'm going to go with Rush at number 3. I love the way this track opens. I think Geddy plays some wonderful bass parts in this. Again, his vocals can be tough for me at times in the early days. I came into Rush with Moving Pictures. I feel like his vocals were much better in that period than this, but it doesn't take anything away from this. You get a lot of those Lifeson open chords that he plays. I think the only thing that detracts from this epic for me is I think it's Cygnus Bringer of Balance, where the talking part comes in. To me, that's a little cheesy. Other than that, I really love this. This is I went Moving Pictures backwards. So Hemispheres was something I picked up after I'd gotten into Rush. And I just feel like, this is in that mid period for them. There's some great stuff in here. I love Lifeson, what he does in this track. It's just, there's got to be a 2 and a 1. So Rush is coming in at number 3 for me.
Now, Eric, Neil Peart's not kind of busy on this song, is he?
There's a difference, though.
What's the difference?
There's a big difference between Neil and Carl, if you ask me. That's my
Yes, there
opinion.
is. Huge.
You can hate me for that, Ken, but I don't know. I don't think they compare. I put Neil
We're
here.
gonna go to the analog kid with the broken heart right now. Ken, you're up.
Me. Well, this I found this actually to be kind of easy. So, but surprising, I think you'll find. So for me, one was not like the others. This is number 5 for me.
Ooh, all right.
Fine album, but Hemispheres, it's not even the best song on the album. And as Scott said, side 2 is better than side 1. Rush's sweet spot, I think, for me, 5 to 7 minute tune. This is like a 5 to 7 minute tune dragged out to 18 minutes. When I listen to these albums, when I listen to these epics, to me, it has to be kind of episodic. There has to be a flow from one section to the other. And for this, it just doesn't have it. It's like a Rush song just stretched out. And I listened to it 3 times today. And I find it to be rather uneventful. And yeah, as I said, La Villa Strangiato is, it torches the entire first side. But the whole second side is much better than the first side. So for me, it's not the best Rush album. Sorry. Farewell to Kings for me is the best Rush album. And, it's fine. This is a fine album. And as a track compared to the other ones, yeah, I think you guys are missing the mark on this one. So this is my number 4, Caravan. So actually, I had a conversation with Feigen about this morning, and he's like Mr. Canterbury. So the way I describe it, I think 9 Feet Underground is the iconic Canterbury tune. I did like the comparison to Traffic. I never really picked up on it, but when it was mentioned, I could hear that. Dave Sinclair's organ work on this side, I think, is one of the great organ tracks of all time. It's just unbelievable. I love the flute. I have no problem with Anthony. I have no problem with Pi Hastings' vocals at the beginning. Richard Sinclair's vocals in the middle section, I think, are just unbelievable.
Richard Sinclair, he's awesome.
I'm sorry?
Richard Sinclair's always awesome. I get the Pi Hastings vocals. People may not be as.
I never had a problem with Pi's voice. I mean, he sounds like a child, but yeah, I mean, I love the transitions from one section to the other. And yeah, I could just focus in on what Dave Sinclair is doing on here, and he just blows me away every time. So for me, this is my number 4. Between 3 and 2, it was a coin toss going back and forth all day. This is my number 3, is Relayer. So Gates of Delirium. It's phenomenal. It's clearly one of the great prog rock epics of all time. It's very chaotic. I love that element to it. I love what Mraz brings to the table. It's their heaviest album. This was like their metal album in a way. And I know those guys were listening to Return to Forever, and I know that the Return to Forever guys were listening to this album when they made Romantic Warrior. They talked about it. And yeah, I love Soon. I love Soon, the closer. I think it's a nice respite from the chaos of the album, and the playing, I think, is just otherworldly. I mean, Howe is they're crazy. The only downside, really, it's just a shitty recording, and it's always been a shitty recording, and it will forever be a shitty recording. So Stephen Wilson remixed it. It's still a shitty recording. So it was recorded in Chris Squire's garage, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Amazing album. So that's my number 3. Another day it could have been my number 1.
Yep. All right, cool. Mr. Laszlo, over to you.
All right. I own all of these except my number 5, and I don't own it for a reason. I thought I never heard it before, and then when I went to go stream it, I was like, this album. I gave this one a try a few years ago and streamed it and did not like it. And I was going to ask anyone, because anytime I rip on a band, something happens where, oh, dude, so-and-so knows the guitarist and told him to watch tonight, and you just put your foot in your mouth. Always happens. So does anybody know anyone in Caravan?
No.
Who gives a shit?
BFFs? Anyone call someone and tell them to watch tonight? All right, good.
That's fine.
Not a fan of this at all. Sleepy time music. I'm not a fan of lushness. I'm not going to say it's lush with strings or anything, but the production's very lush. The drumming, it's almost like he's playing with those brushes instead of drumsticks, the metal brushes. The keyboards are so soft. The singing, it's weird that Ken said that Pi sounds like a small kid. I thought he sounded, in their 20s when they recorded this, I thought he sounded like a tired 78-year-old man. It sounds like
same thing
on hold music. It sounds like on hold music, like I'm on hold with the water company or something.
Yes.
It's above average on hold music. But it's on hold music.
That is the best thing I've ever heard anybody say. It's pretentious on hold music. That's what it is.
Yes. It's like,
That's right.
Where'd they get this on hold music from? They paid an extra money for this one. So I was listening to it on headphones. It gets a little interesting at parts. The bass can get groovy. There's a left to right stereo thing going on. But I talk on the phone with my headphones quite often. And when it was over, I was half expecting someone to come on. Thanks for waiting. Can I help you? So there goes that one. Number 2, my second pick, but number 4 is going to be Yes, because I'm not the biggest Yes fan in the world. I've tried so many times. Sometimes I listen to a Yes album, I go, oh, it's finally clicking with me. 5 months later, I can listen to the same Yes album and go, oh, what? No. So I think it comes down to the guitar tones. It comes down to the keyboards. It comes down to John Anderson's voice and his cadence. A lot of treble in Yes. I need them to be a little bit more grounded. I need a bottom end, and Yes just doesn't have that. That's why I don't like the Grateful Dead. No bottom end. I talked about a Bittersweet Symphony by The Verb on the last review crew. No bottom end. I hate these songs that float and don't have that bass. So it starts off like that, but I get over it quick because that part in the middle is so dark and cool, and you got the tornado of sounds going on. Is it supposed to be a war? You said that part is really cool. I don't like. Is it this part soon when John Anderson comes in and starts? He's like he's skipping through his vocal parts like an elf on a grassy field.
Yes, he is.
And I like his pop voice on the pop albums 90125, Big Generator. I'm not saying Big Generator is great, but I don't mind his voice on it. And Talk, when he's doing that shit, I don't mind his voice on this. So that's why I think I gravitate towards this album. A lot of people don't. This album has a lot of things that Yes fans find boring. Those same things they find boring are the same things that I don't find annoying, that annoy me on other albums. So, but it does come together at the end. It gets that bass going at the end. So, yeah, I will say 2/3 of Gates of Delirium is good. The next three, I'm splitting hairs because I love them all. But I'm going with Rush next, and I like Rush better than ELP and better than Genesis, but I'll tell you why. This is great. It's awesome. Cygnus Book 2. X1 Book 2. It's awesome, but it doesn't flow, especially going into part 1 to part 2. There's an actual pause in the music like it's a new song. You expect your CD player to skip to the next number, and you're like, oh, it's still on the same number? So it doesn't have that flow or cohesive feeling at that moment. And it reminds me of 2112 a lot. It sounds like recycled ideas from 2112. It sounds like a distant cousin to 2112. And 2112 is my favorite Rush album. And yeah, it's just too much of that recycled.
The non-prog guy nailed it. Nailed it. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Shaping up to be pretty interesting. Anthony, you're up next.
All right. Well, we have 5 epics. In my opinion, you got 4 of them kind of splitting hairs, and you got another one that doesn't belong. So I'm going with Caravan at number 5. I think David Sinclair organ work is pretty good. I think Pi is a better vocalist than David Sinclair. David Sinclair to me has always been kind of like wincible, kind of psych, kind of poppy. For me, the better Caravan album is for girls who grow up pumping tonight. I think Pi's vocals are amazing on that. But Caravan's going to be my number 5. My number 4, I'm going with Rush. I mean, I love Rush. I love the song. I think side 1's better than side 2. I love La Via. The Trees is good. Circumstances is okay, but it's not like the epic. The epic is going through peaks and valleys. Alex is a beast on this. I love Geddy's voice, so I'm going to go with Rush at number 4. And then at number 3, I'm going to go with Tarkus at number 3. I think Greg Lake's vocals are fantastic on this song. I think, of course, Keith Emerson, this is like where he blew his proverbial load to be pretentious on this song. Carl's great on it. I think Greg Lake's vocals suit the song. They're kind of like dreary a little bit. Perfect tune for them. That's my number 3.
All right. George.
My number 5 is Caravan. This song, I'd say half the runtime is soloing. And for that much soloing, I kind of wish that the guys were good at soloing, and they're kind of not. I mean, the keyboard lines are just like intermediate keyboard lines, like
dead wrong
keyboard student lines.
It's so pedestrian. Truly.
Yeah, it really is. I was just waiting for something to happen. The vocals are not good, but they're not like a big deal for me. Yeah, I like that riff at the end. It finally gets some balls, like with 3 minutes left to go. But yeah, this song definitely was my 5 easily. My number 4 is Supper's Ready. This to me, the way epics are constructed, it's kind of interesting. Like Ken said, is it like an elongated song? Is it a suite like thing? Or in the case of this one, for me, it's like a bunch of jagged parts that they just had at the practice room and they threw them together to make a long song. To me, it doesn't have flow at all. And honestly, most of it is just dull as dishwater. I've never been into this tune at all. So that was a fairly easy 4.
I think Eric's head's gonna explode.
It might.
My number three is Tarkus. Um, love the intro. Like Eric said, anytime these guys are instrumental, that's when they're on their game. The vocal parts are a little boring for me, most of them, especially that first one. Uh, I don't love Lake's voice. It's okay. I don't love it like most of you guys do. I just find him to be kind of average.
What's the matter
I
with
even like Greg Lake, George. Come on.
I like the riff at the end too. That's kind of like a classical, like a ceremonial kind of sounding riff. That's really cool. Basically, this is a tale of two cities here. Instrumental, cool, vocal parts. So for me, that was three.
All righty then. All right, over to Cans.
All right. I always feel obligated when we do these things to say I like all these songs. I don't dislike any of them, and just because one comes in last doesn't mean it's bad. But I figure this time I'll take the heat off of George, and you can come at me, Eric, because my number 5 is Supper's Ready.
Ooh.
And I just said I don't dislike this song. I love this song. This is the only one, I found myself humming after doing my homework. There's plenty of hooks in here. It's a Mellotron lover's wet dream, but I've got to agree with George. It's more like a song cycle than a single work. I know they do harken back to some themes from the beginning at the end, but it doesn't flow for me like I think it should. It could use a kick-ass guitar solo somewhere, anywhere.
Maybe it was recorded, but we just can't hear it because it was
Yeah,
mixed by fucking
could be.
keyboard boy.
Could be, but they had
It's
to
there.
cram
You
all
might
those
want to
acoustics.
play it again.
Well, they had to cram, 3 acoustics at a time into half the fucking thing. There isn't room for other people to play guitar, I guess. But yeah, it's a great song and I love it, but it came in last today. My number 4, 9 Feet Underground. I did note that this is the only song that isn't about some sort of conflict or war or battle or, you know, negative fucking sad shit. This one's listen to my cool song and, maybe look inside yourself and you'll find something beautiful and that fucking pussy ass shit. But if you like keyboard soloing, this is for you. Everybody has said that, but I do think it flows pretty well. Not a bad song, and it beats Supper's Ready. So hate me if you want. My number 3 is Tarkus. I found myself wishing Greg Lake could play guitar as well as he can play bass. That solo was just, I don't know if he had ever heard David Gilmour at that time, but it was sort of like a bad, I'm going to do some bends like David Gilmour. That was what was coming into my head. But, it's Keith Emerson's magnum opus, I think. The lyrics and the story are, juvenile comic book crap, which I normally dig, but it wasn't enough to put this above number 3 for me. But I think, this is the blueprint for programmatic symphonic rock. And I think, it's incredibly important just for that. But today, number 3, Tarkus.
So I'll reiterate what Chris said. I like all 5 of these quite a bit. And yeah, it sucks that something has to come in at number 5, but that's the way it goes, right? That's Caravan for me. I really like this a lot. To me, this might be the quintessential Canterbury song. I love David Sinclair's never-ending distorted Hammond organ solo. I think it's glorious. I really like it a lot. Why it's at number 5 for me, I don't really get the feel that it's like a fully realized song. It's a lot of jamming. It's great for what it is, but I think that the other tracks here are just better cohesive tracks. So yeah, it's my number 5. My number 4 is going to be Emerson, Lake and Palmer with Tarkus. I mean, this is Keith Emerson in all his glory. This is as great as the organ solo is in 9 Feet Underground. This might be one of the great Hammond organ solos of all time, Hammond organ songs of all time. It's amazing. The drumming is great. Lake's vocals are cool for what they are. That's kind of like left out in left field on this track a little bit, but I almost forget that this song even has vocals. In fact, I hadn't heard it in a little while, and I was playing it again this week, and I'm like, oh, I forgot that Greg was on this song because all you really think about on this is Keith Emerson. It's amazing, mind blowing stuff. And my number 3 is going to be the Gates of Delirium. kind of almost even starts off at the beginning, almost sounds like close to the edge a little bit. Look at those flutterings, the guitars and stuff. I mean, this is a glorious song. Classic Yes, with one of their great but brief lineups. I love this lineup. I wish they would have done more with Patrick Moraz. I think he's a great fit. Howe is killing it on this, even though his guitar tone sucks. But I think there's just some wild sections on here. I mean, this album itself just takes so many chances. It's so good. And I love the soon section at the end. I think it's a great way to kind of subside after all the crazy shit that goes on before it. So yeah, it's unfortunately on my number 3 in this list. So because the other two I just enjoy more. So back to Tom for number 2 and 1.
All right, top 2. I got to go number 2. I got to go Tarkus. I just think that the ensemble playing on this is just fantastic. I love Greg Lake's vocals. I don't know what other people. I think his vocals are amazing. I think he's on the top of his game. I think that and that, you know, Keith and Carl just like they are just locked, and it's just that do every time I put that on, I just get psyched. I just like I just think it's just so cool. I think it's ELP at one of their heights. I just I mean I love things like Stones of Years and Battlefield, and I just think it's you know, the only part that gets a little bit like maybe like okay, pushing it a little bit is Aqua Tarkus, but then that's kind of brief, and then just a little section, but I just love Tarkus to death. I just that's the kind, you know, I used to listen to Tarkus in college, and I'd be listening to it, and my friends would walk in and go, "What is this shit you're listening to?" And I was like, "Man, it's ELP at their height, dude. You need to check it out."
Ooh.
Anyway, so then number 1 for me is obviously Genesis, Supper's Ready. I mean, to me, it's, I mean, a lot of people would say it's the height of Genesis, of Gabriel era Genesis. I mean, I would say it's maybe the height of their cooperation and co-writing. And I mean, yeah, it's a little bit, I hear some people saying it's a little disjointed. Yeah, I get that. I mean, that whole, when it goes into Willow Farm and a flower and all that stuff, and when it just kind of goes from, you know, a flower, it goes into all these different sections out of nowhere. But I think to me that's part of the charm. That's what's part cool about it. And I mean, to me, Apocalypse 9, the beautiful beginning, Willow Farm, the Apocalypse in 9/8, and then that New Jerusalem ending is just so epic. So to me, it's got to be Supper's Ready. I love Supper's Ready. It's amazing. So it's my number 1.
Cool. All right. Over to Lewis.
All right. My number 2 clearly has to be Rush, because Cygnus is such an epic song that it spreads over 2 records. Let's not forget part 1 was in Farewell to Kings. That's the first thing. Secondly, the first one talks about a black hole. Second one talks about this battle between Dionysus and the others. And I would say I know people don't like lyrics, but the take-home message is, if you have to choose between gods as role models, be a Dionysus. It's fucking awesome. I love the music. It is a little disjointed. It does have stops. It's naive, but it also has a lot of balls. It rocks. It has those 7/8 that Rush invented. It has all these great elements, and you know, I started to listen to that at a very early age, and it just to your head. So I gotta do that one as my number 2. And the drumming, as stated, is busy, composed, beautiful. It's controlled. It's nothing. Now, I do have to give the number 1 to Tarkus, because compositionally, I think, and it's not even, it is not even Keith Emerson at his best. I would say that is Carnival 9, but it is incredible. And I've had the opportunity to perform the whole thing live, and it is really incredible when you study what the keyboards are doing, and when you don't have to play a simplified version of Keith Emerson's left hand, but you can actually play a bass line. It's an amazing piece of music.
Yeah, Lewis, let me ask you about that real quick, because I'm a bass player, guitar player, and when Greg is doing the left hand of Keith in unison, that bass line, tell me about how hard that is, because I've been playing since I was 5 years old. On the bass is not easy, is it?
No, but what Greg Lake did a lot of the time, he wasn't playing all the notes. He wasn't playing. He was playing boom 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 boom. He was acting in the groups of threes or the twos. And that's the thing. It is hard to play. I learned to play the whole thing, and then I shifted it around. It's very difficult to play, but it's a very great piece of music. And yes, I'm not going to sit here and defend Carl Palmer. Carl Palmer is mega busy. He can be spastic, and that's not necessarily in the service of the music. But it's the formula for Tarkus is part of what the guys in Dream Theater use. They have these explosive instrumental sections, and then when it's time to sing, they sing ballads. Because that's what Greg Lake does. He's a balladeer, right? And then when it's time to rock, he takes his back seat and everybody plays, right? And then when it's time for another song, it all goes back down. That's the Dream Theater thing that they've been doing forever. And I just love Tarkus. I think the melodies are great. I think the lyrics are great. It's one of those songs that once you learn it, it kind of plays itself. It's a beautiful thing. So I've always been indebted to Keith Emerson just because I was able to study his music. And that was a much better education than I could have gotten in any university. So it's a great composition. That's easily my number one from this batch.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay. We got one first place vote for ELP, one for Genesis. Scott, which way are you going to lean here?
Well, here we go, boys and girls. One of the very, very, very few times that I will go against my beloved Yes, the greatest band of all time. I don't care what you naysayers say, but I'm giving the nod to Genesis. And number 2, I'm going with the Gates of Delirium. I think Pete mentioned Steve Howe's guitar tone. He's dead right. I mean, from this album forward, it's like Steve forgot what got him there, which was his ES. I mean, the semi-acoustic hollow body Gibson. It's like he never uses it. He used to get 2 first class seats, one for him and one for his ES 175, and he's playing a Fender all the way through this. Why? It makes no sense. It's a great track. I love it with all my heart. But in this case, you just cannot deny the majesty and the perfection that is Supper's Ready. Very possibly the highlight of all pre-recorded music in the history of mankind. When we come off of that Apocalypse in 9/8 section and Gabriel finally makes an appearance with his 666, and then we go into that beautiful reprise section. For those of you that said it's not composed properly, it's just a bunch of songs. That ain't a bunch of songs, man. When that reprise comes on, check out the chord progressions, Lewis. As we go from Apocalypse, from Apocalypse 9/8 into the final section, there's some really cool stuff going on harmonically. And then you get that beautiful emotional ending, that New Jerusalem. Music isn't all about how many notes you can play. Sometimes it's just about the way it makes you feel. Nothing makes me feel the way Supper's Ready makes me feel. Nothing.
I mean, I did say that I think Genesis is an incredible songwriting collective. The composition is flawless from my perspective. My problem is that it's been overplayed. Yeah. It's become a cliche. It's a free bird of prog.
Yeah.
So that's just my problem.
For sure.
But,
All right. Genesis takes the early lead. Eric?
All right. So my number 2, I'm going with Gates of Delirium. And to me, I agree with the Howe tone, but I think this Howe's playing here is probably my favorite of any Yes album. I would
agree.
That's really fire. Imagine how good it'd sound on a Gibson.
He's going for broke. And the only criticism I think I can bring to this is the sound. I like what Mraz does. There's times where I feel Mraz is a little buried, or maybe a little how kind of takes over that space but then there's other times where Mraz comes out and I think he sits there pretty well. I love Soon. I think it's, you get it, like Pete said, all that chaos and craziness that's going on in the middle, and then Soon comes in, and I just think it's a great way to end that track. I love it. I love Relayer. So that's my number 2. And Scott, you kind of summed up Supper's Ready for me, except the way I look at Supper's Ready. And I get where people are saying maybe it's a little disjointed. Maybe from all the listening, I don't hear the disjointedness anymore. I hear the intro to Lover's Leap, and I hear those beautiful, lush 12-string guitars, and I hear Banks, everything Tony Banks does in this track, whether he's doing Mellotron in sections or the piano. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. Hackett's volume swells. There is a good lead in here too. I think it's in the Band of Merry Men, whatever comes in front of that. I'm not going to bother pronouncing, but you get the flute. I love Gabriel's vocals. There's great energy. The unison runs in some of these sections are terrific. I get that there's the back and forth, and you guys have already mentioned the 666 section, Apocalypse and 9/8. I don't know this track, and maybe it's Genesis was kind of the first band I fell into, so I'm sure that's part of it. But I just think this song is all about atmosphere, and between Banks and Hackett and Rutherford, just amazing. And Phil keeps everything together. I mean, I taught maybe Ken, you made fun of me about Carl Palmer. Is there a smoother drummer than Phil Collins? I don't think so. I mean, this guy just makes everything feel great. So to me, Supper's Ready had to be number 1.
All right. Genesis goes out in front even more. Ken, what do you got for your top 2?
Well, my number 2, I will proudly hold up my original British Tarkus. You all thought this was going to be my number 1, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's incredible. I mean, I think, first of all, I think Greg's vocals on here are great. Stone of Years is fantastic. Battlefield, the live version where they segued into Epitaph, I thought was even better. He took it to the next level. Keith Hammond playing is amazing. And we've got to remember also, he's playing the Mini Moog on here, but this is like primordial synthesizer work. The best is yet to come on Carnival 9. So here he really is concentrating on the Hammond. I mean, I think Carl's going off his nut on the whole album. I love the dynamics of it. It has great flow from one section to the next. It's cohesive, and I think it's the second best piece of music that ELP did. I love it, and to me, it's that side is almost perfect. And in fact, maybe I'll say it is perfect. Number 1, got to be Supper's Ready. So, just probably still my favorite piece of Genesis music. And it's like sections that somehow are cobbled together, but in a way that it does have a flow. And maybe it's because I know it so well. I've heard it so many times over the years that all the transitions seem intentional and sort of seamless to me. So, I have no problem with it. And every section of it there's a different element to each section, and it adds to the dynamics of the whole piece. And there's Bill's drumming. It's just amazing. Apocalypse and 9/8 it's like crazy. Hackett is great. You got to listen for him. But a New Jerusalem, especially if you listen to the live version, like on Seconds Out, I mean, it's fantastic. So
But doesn't that piss you off, Ken?
What?
In order to hear Hackett's work, it's like you have to go underground. You have to be a sound detective. And when you hear Hackett play it live, then you suddenly realize what he did all those years ago, and you're like, "Holy shit! It's a lot better than I thought."
Well, yeah, I mean, but
No,
you're not wrong. I mean, it's a shame, and it's another reason why you should go see Hackett in October if he's coming around, because he's got a great band, and he is faithful to the music. He's respectful of the music. He does great interpretations of the music, and I mean.
And he is playing Supper's Ready once again on this leg of the tour.
Yeah, and look, the other guys,
amazing.
they ain't doing shit. So, so yeah, Foxtrot, just a breathtaking album. So, that it's the kind of, I would play somebody who's never heard progressive rock. That's the kind of album, that's the kind of side I would put that on for somebody and just let them just overwhelm them with it, because it is an overwhelming piece of music, but I love it. It's my number one.
You lose, Jamie. Okay.
Lost Jamie. Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie was
internet
freaking out anyway.
There we go.
Hey, there he
Jamie's
is.
here.
Okay. Jamie, you're up if you can hear me.
He's logging in.
All right, Anthony, why don't you give your picks and we'll circle back to Jamie.
All right. Well, I'm going with Genesis at number 2 with Supper's Ready. I think what difference from this epic from the other epics, it's almost like there's a lot of instrumentation, but it's almost like Peter Gabriel never comes up for air. I think his vocals are outstanding on this tune. I mean, and we'd love to hear Hackett more, but as long as we hear him live play it, we know what he's doing. So I'm going with Genesis at number 2, and then I'm going number 1. I'm going Gates of Delirium. I thought Mraz brought to the table was like a high energy band, like a lot of fusion into it. I think John Anderson's vocals are fantastic as usual. I think Soon is gorgeous at the end. I love Hal's tone on this record. I think he and Squire are beasts. And to be honest with you, Alan White sounds amazing on this record. I don't think he gets enough credit. So I'm going with Genesis at number 2, and then I'm going with Gates of Delirium at number 1.
All right, cool. All right, we only have a few left. Jamie, what do you got in your number 2 and 1?
Uh-oh.
He's
He is,
frozen.
he's having the bug and amber syndrome.
Can you hear me, Jamie? All right, he's locked. Okay. All right. We'll circle back. George.
My number 2 is Gates of Delirium. I like every part of this song. I like the intro. I like the verses. I like the battle section, the guitar solo, the Soon part.
You like the softy too.
Yeah, the Soon is cool. I disagree when they broke it off and put it on 9012 Live and called it a song. I thought that was lame. It's not its own song.
Yes.
But
agree.
yeah, I think it's a great epic and not far behind Close to the Edge for me. My number 1 though is Hemispheres. Again, I like everything about that song. It's the heaviest song, most rocking song in this group. It's the most well played song in this group.
Thank you.
I got the most experience with in this group. To me, there's no flaws. A lot of these epics have that part in the middle where it slows down and it gets boring, and this does have that too with the
talking part.
Yeah, the no sense of form and all that stuff. But it's not as long as some of these other tunes, so that's the only part I could have maybe knocked it. But yeah, for me, easy number 1.
All right. Jamie, you okay now?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, okay. You sound
Hear me?
fine. Okay. Give it a go.
All right. Did you notice that me and Scott both have the same thing going on behind us? Supertramp albums displayed. So my number 2 is Tarkus, ELP. It's a very ELP-y sounding ELP song. Everything that's great about ELP is wrapped up into this song. Eruption's cool. I like that it's eruption of keyboards. It makes me wonder if Eddie Van Halen got the idea. What if I do Eruption and do it with a guitar? You never know. Stones of Years is really cool. Yes, Carl Palmer's being busy, but I love how when Greg Lake comes in, that busy drumming's behind him, and it's still a ballad. It's proof that Greg Lake could sing over a jackhammer and make it into a pretty ballad. Mass, I like the electric guitar just because it's there. You don't always hear electric guitar in ELP, so it's cool just to have a little rockin' electric guitar in an ELP song. I think Carl Palmer's like proto Neil Peart. Like you don't get Neil without Carl, step by step. I don't know. I'm not a drummer. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. I like Battlefield because it's big and epic, and I love Greg Lake's vocals on there. When he's singing, it sounds like he's singing something important. He's like a stern teacher saying, pay attention. I'm saying something important. You get that feel from it. A lot of singers can do that. And I like the end, Aqua Tarkus, because there's this squeaky sound going on with keyboards, and it makes me think of this thing squeaking away. Like if this thing rolled away, it would make the sound of those keyboards. Squeak, 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 which is a great ending. It goes away. Supper's Ready is next. People want to hear the first 3 minutes because that is a beautiful fucking melody. That's why. And it's Hello Babe with Your Guardian Eyes So Blue. Hey my baby, don't you know love is true. However, I'm not going to take away points for this, but isn't it weird to have a 20-minute epic, big intense song and there's lyrics in here more than once that says don't you know our love is true? It's like, shouldn't that be in like some 1957, as you know, not Isley Brothers, but Everly Brothers song, or like the Letterman or something? It doesn't fit into this, but it's cool because I love the melody, and I love when proggy songs have melodies and intensity because it's like a roller coaster. You don't want one big hill after another big hill. You got to have those little hills in between, and that's your melody. You don't want hooks because if you get too many hooks, hooks get in the way, and then you have like a Halloween song. You don't want a Halloween song all the time. So melodies and the progginess, and the song builds up. It doesn't build up like constantly on the number line of intensity. You'll go like to a 5, then down to a 3, then to a 6, and then down to a 2, then back up to a 7, then down to a 4. So it kind of goes up, but then it'll come back and then go up a little bit more until the big ending where we go back into Don't You Know My Love Is True. But this time it's more intense, and you know, it what's great about it is it bookends the song. The two melodies bookend the song. So now you feel like you've had a beginning, you had all the craziness in the middle, and then you have the ending. You know that's the ending. So yeah, it's a perfect prog rock song.
Cool. All right, Chris.
Okay. My number 2 is my sentimental favorite, Cygnus X1 Book 2, Hemispheres. I think this is just about as big as a three-piece band can sound. I think Alex's tone during this period is my favorite that he has ever played. He sounds amazing. Um, this song's also is kind of a transition from the band they were to the band they were going to be over the next few albums. You know, not only, you know, the songs in two parts from A Farewell to Kings to this, but some of the stuff on here, you know, Alex's tone especially, and there's a little part in this song that sort of like foreshadows Red Barchetta and stuff that's going to come later, and you know, Neil's just descending, you know, down the rototoms, you know, which he started doing a lot more. They might not be rototoms. I'm not a drummer, so you know, don't at me. But this is an incredible song. You know, the little break in the middle is disconcerting when you like I hadn't heard it in a while, and I put it on today and I'm like, it's a lot shorter than I thought it was. I'm like, oh wait, there's more. So, you know, this is an incredible song. Could be a number 1, but you know, I just went at number 2 today. So that leaves Yes at number 1. Steve Howe's playing is the best on any of these songs. He just fucking tears it up. I think Mraz coming into the band may have kind of lit a fire under his ass, and I think pushed everybody a little harder on this one. Um, I find the lyrical imagery to be the most effective. You know, I was kind of into this whole conflict and this war and all this stuff, and I just think it all went well together. And you know, you've got ass-kicking solos, ass-kicking playing, you know, and I don't think it's too fiddly at the end. You know, we've had the big war, and now, you know, we're all sorry that that happened, and you know, it's all soft and whatever, but I think it all works. And, you know, the whole thing is all wrapped up in a big yes package, which it just works for me. So Gates of Delirium is my number 1.
All right, cool. All right, my number 2 is Rush. It's amazing. It's an amazing song. Could have been my number 1 if my number 1 wasn't in this particular assignment here, but I love everything about it. Yeah, it's a little overshadowed by La Villa Strangiato for me on the album, but it's still a great epic, and it's one of their arguably great epics. So that comes in number 2. My number 1 is Genesis. I mean, I absolutely adore Supper's Ready. I have for many, many years. It's arguably could be my favorite Genesis song. It's got all the elements I love about this band. Yeah, it's comprised of a bunch of different parts kind of pieced together, but as Ken mentioned, and maybe it's because I know it so well and I've been listening to it for so long, I don't even notice the transitions anymore. They just kind of the song just flows for me. There's beautiful stuff in here. There's rocking stuff in here. I love the 12 strings, love the mellotron, love Hackett when he appears. Gabriel at the height of his powers. Collins is great. I adore Tony Banks' keyboard textures in general, and I think he's amazing on this. So yeah, that's my number one. Let me tally up the swell. Genesis has 40 points, so that's probably going to be our winner. But if you guys want to know who came in number two, it's probably I think it's going to be a dead heat between Rush and ELP. Actually, no, ELP is going to squeak out. Rush is in third place, and then Yes in third. No, wait, hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, so let's go around real quick. Tom, talk a little bit about the Tell show that we got going on while I tally all this up, and then we'll kind of move around a little bit, and then we'll get everybody out of here.
All right, cool. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, premiering. Pete's coming on the channel to talk about Jethro Tull incredible run 1969 to 79. And Anthony, I know you're not gonna be happy that we're ending in 1979. But yeah, so that was really fun. That's premiering tomorrow night. So psyched about that. That'll be fun.
Cool. Scott, what's going on over at the Prog Corner?
Hey, as always, this Sunday, the Sunday live stream, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, we're going to be looking at 4 albums from 1974. Appropriate, right? Supertramp, Crime of the Century, R.I.P. Rick Davies, Todd Rundgren's Utopia versus The Power and the Glory from Gentle Giant versus my personal favorite, the debut album from Kansas. So we're going to be ranking those 4 albums with an all-star panel. Not as good as this panel, but a good panel.
There you go. Cool. Let's see. Jamie, you want to talk a little bit about the review crew coming up?
Yeah, it's going to be a review too, not the review crew. It's going to be me and Pete. And I'm going to get on the hype train of Rock Candy CDs because everyone else is. And I just happened in the last 6 weeks to buy and I'm going to review every single one of them. So I'm going to review this stack
Oh my God.
in lightning round style, and then I'm going to review this stack. We'll get through it real quick. 30 seconds on each. Bam, bam.
There you go. That's all coming up real soon. All right, so the tally is Genesis wins with 40 points. Surprisingly enough, Yes squeaks out second place because they had 2 first place votes. I thought it was going to be because Rush and ELP had a lot of second place votes. ELP comes in third with 33, Rush at 31, and then Caravan with not a lot of points. I'm not even going to tally it up, but yeah, all the way at the bottom. But yeah,
I got it right. That's my 1 through 5.
There you go, Scott. See that? All right, very cool. Well, this was fun. So if you all watching like this sort of epic battle thing with epic songs, maybe we'll do it again. So let us know down in the comments below. And more importantly, rank them as you like them down below. Will Genesis reign supreme with our viewers? We shall wait and see. So till next time, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Thanks for watching us here on In the Prog Seat. For Jamie Laszlo, Tom Curlis, Louis Nasser, Scott Lade and the Snakes, Ken Golden, Anthony Ferraro, Eric Porter, George Lemie, and the Canterbury. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night. See ya.
Cheers.